Hello guys, scary stories. When it snows on Halloween night. Halloween is a big deal in my town. Every house goes all out in a competition to see who can freak out the most kids. Luckily for us, they also compete to see who can give out the best candy. It's pretty great. And this year, my friends and I were finally old enough to go trick and treat alone. I spent all day getting ready with my friends Ashley and Sherry. I was going as a vampire. Ashley was a witch and Sherry was a werewolf. I was just putting some fake blood around my mouth as the finishing touch when Ashley gasped. What's wrong? I asked without taking my eyes away from the mirror. It's snowing. Remember when I said Halloween was a big deal in my town? Yes. Well, snow on Halloween was an even bigger deal in my town. It's only happened once in my lifetime, and that was 10 years ago when I was 2. So I do not remember it at all. But that didn't matter. Every year in the days leading up to the Halloween, the grown up in town will drill it into our head that snow on Halloween was a bad sign and that if it snowed, we had to follow the rules. The rules was if it snowed on Halloween, every trick or treat wearing a mask will be asked to take it off before they can get candy. If you are wearing a mask, you must take it off before taking any candy. If someone refuses to take off their mask, do not offer them candy and do not speak to them. We didn't know the why behind the rules, but honestly, I didn't care. Sherry was only one of us wearing a mask after all. Suck to you, Sherry. I joked. Hope that giant fur ball of a mask is easy to take off and on. Yes, Sherry. If it's not that easy, then we will leave you. Ashley said with a laugh. Very funny, you guys. The good news was that we were staying at Ashley's house for the night and her mom wasn't much of a nagger. So I figured it out that she had give us a quick reminder of the rules as we went out the doors and that would be it. My mother, on the other hand, was definitely a nagger. I could send her phone call before my cell phone ever rang. Yes, mother, I said as soon as I answered, not letting her get a word in. Sherry is the only one who is wearing a mask, and she knew to take it off before getting candies. We wouldn't talk to anyone who doesn't take their mask off. Blah 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 blah. Love you, see you tomorrow. I hung up and giggled. Parents, am I right? After one last look at our costumes to make sure they were perfect, we went out the front door and into the snowy neighborhood. Our plan was to start at the house next door and work our way around the neighborhood as the night got darker. The inner road had some serious creepy looking house and we wanted to hit those houses when it was good and dark out for maximum creep factor. Do you think Josh and the guys will be out? Ashley asked as we headed to the nearest house. She had an obvious crush on Josh, but swear up and down she didn't. No idea, Ash, I said, and I rang the doorbell. Trick or treats! As the night went on, Sherry got pretty quick at ripping her mask off the second she was asked. I had to give it to her because she put it back on every time. I know the mask completed the werewolf costume. but I probably would have just left it off after the fourth or fifth house. Just before 9 o'clock, we hit the last house in the neighborhood. They were known to give out two full-size candy bars just to get rid of them. We ran past a group of kids who were just leaving and bound up the steps. Trick or treats! What great costumes! Go ahead and take two bars if you like. The woman at the door said, but you two will have to take off your mask first. Too, I looked over at Sherry, saw another kid standing next to her. He was dressed as a scarecrow with a bomb gag. The mouth was crooked cheese on and the eyes holes were jagged cut. I shivered and looked away. Just some kid trying to get their last bit of candy like we were before the neighborhood shut off their lights and turned in for the night. I reached into the plastic pumpkin the woman was holding out and grabbed a twist and a Milky Way. I looked over at Sherry, who was pulling off her mask. The scarecrow stood still next to her, his mask still on. Ashley grabbed her two bar and nagged Sherry. Come on, Wolfie, let's go. Sherry grabbed her candy and turned to the scarecrow. Hey kids, you gotta take off your mask if you want any candy. Sherry, you do not talk to him. What? She looked confused for a second before her mistake dawned to her. Oh shit, the rules. Sherry had moved to town 3 years ago, so the rules were not as known to her. We looked at the woman at the door nervously, hoping she would tell us the rules were just some silly made up things to make Halloween seem more scary. Instant, a look of pure terror crossed her face. Run, she whispered before slamming her door shut and clicking the lock. Ashley and I grabbed Sherry and pulled her down the steps. We couldn't help but scream, though we didn't know what exactly the woman was so afraid. As we rounded the corner of the sidewalk, I turned to look behind us. I let out a scream when my eyes met the jagged, empty eye hole of Scarecrow mask. He was right behind us. Faster, I yelled, pulling on my friend's hand as I ran down the sidewalk towards Ashley's house. If we could just make it inside, we had be safe from whatever this thing chasing us was. Over the gaps of our breath as we ran, I heard the sound of a straw bubbling together as the scarecrow running towards us. Finally, I saw the front light of Ashley's house. The three of us ran for the front steps faster than we had ever dreamed of running in the gym. Ashley reached for the doorknob and froze. It was locked. She started looking for her keys as Sherry and I pounded on the door for her mom to open. I could hear the sound of Scarecrow getting louder. Just when I thought my heart would beat straight out of my chest, Ashley found the keys and opened the door and pulled us inside. She slammed the door shut and locked it before turning the front light off. As we collapsed on the floor, gasping for air, my eyes turned to the side table by the door. On it, a piece of notebook paper. I picked it up and read it quickly before clumping it up. Your mom got called in for an emergency shift at the hospital, Ash. We are alone. Before Ashley could respond, there was a loud bang on the front door. The scarecrow was here, and it was mad. We had to barricade the door, I said, standing up and grabbing the side table. Ashley got up and grabbed the other side of the table so we could move it up against the door, while Sherry ducked over a chair from the living room. Bang! Something hit the window above us as the front door started to move at the same time. Is there more than one of them? Sherry asked. No idea, but we need to get away from the door now, I said as I started going upstairs. I figured being off the ground floor was safest. We ran into Ashley's room and started pushing her desk up against the door. I was pretty sure the scarecrow outside was no ordinary kid, and I didn't want to find out what would happen if it got to us. Guys, I'm sorry, Sherry said through choked sob. I didn't even think. I just thought it was some dumb kid, and It's okay, Sherry, I said. We're gonna be okay. Bang! All three of us terrifiedly saw that the window of that room shook from the force of being hit, and I turned to look and saw those jiggle empty ice holes pressing up against the window. How did it get up here? Ashley screamed. I don't know, but we need to hide, I said. Follow me. I ran to the closet and pushed them there, closing the door tight behind us. We hugged each other. We couldn't breathe because we were so afraid. The angry banging on Ash's window continued. The sound was so loud that I can hear it from the closet. I was thinking maybe Scarecrow will stop, but instead another bang sounded from the door to Ashley's bedroom. Next, another from the window, then the door, then the window. I prayed to God that I wouldn't skip school again, and I had do all my chores, and I never ever do anything bad again if it had let us live. The assault on Ashley's bedroom door and windows went on for hours. I swear I could hear the rustling of straw rubbing together from just outside the closet door. I was certain the door would open at any second and that thing will drag us all down to the hell with it. But finally, the banging stopped. We waited in silence for minutes. I pulled out my cell phone and checked the time. 12:05 a.m. November 1. We made it. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Take care. Bye.